Close your eyes, dear traveler of the night. The world has grown quiet, and the stars shine like lanterns in a vast, endless temple of the sky. Tonight, we will drift into ancient times, into stories whispered in the dark, where women were seen not only as mothers and daughters, but as goddesses, priestesses, and keepers of hidden wisdom. Through the soft candlelight of forgotten sanctuaries, we will walk slowly, listening to the voices of divine women in ancient cults, their songs, their prayers, their mysteries. These are stories of devotion, of healing, of love for the earth and heavens, and of souls who became bridges between the human and the divine. Let us wander gently through this sacred history, and allow its quiet beauty to soothe your heart and guide you into rest. If these stories bring you peace, you may share where you are listening from, or gently subscribe so you can return whenever you need calm. The evening drifts slowly. The sun has already lowered itself behind the horizon, leaving the sky painted in a soft blend of rose and violet. The last rays shimmer like threads of gold across polished stone. The air is still, touched with the faint hum of cicadas, and the temple stands quiet at the edge of twilight. Candles begin to glow in the shadows. Their light trembles like little hearts, steady and gentle. The great doors of the sanctuary are carved with ancient signs, symbols of the earth, of the sky, of the hidden mysteries between them. You step quietly, feeling the stone beneath your feet, cool and strong, carrying centuries of prayer. Incense rises. It curls upward in silver trails, soft as breath. The smoke drifts like a veil, carrying the memory of countless voices that once prayed here. It is not heavy but light, almost sweet, like cedar or myrrh or the faint spice of cinnamon. Each thread of smoke feels like a whisper moving upward, a silent offering. Inside the temple, shadows and light blend together. Golden lamps hang from the walls, their flames swaying gently. The air is full of warmth, yet calm, as though time itself has slowed. In this sacred place, women once gathered at dusk. Their robes flowed like rivers, and their hands carried torches that burned with steady light. They were called the guardians of the flame. These women tended fires that never went out. The flames were not only fire, but life. They stood for the heartbeat of the city, the rhythm of the people, the bond between earth and the divine. To guard the fire was to guard the soul of the world. Imagine them now, moving softly across the stone floor. Their steps are slow, measured, almost like a dance. Each carries a vessel of oil, pouring it carefully, so the flame will never falter. The fire responds like a living spirit, rising brighter, then settling into its calm, eternal glow. The dusk outside deepens. Stars begin to appear, faint and trembling at first, then brighter as night unfolds. The temple itself seems to hold the sky inside its walls. When the guardians lift their torches, it is as if stars have come down to earth, carried in human hands. Each woman bows her head, murmuring words that are half prayer, half song. Their voices blend into a low hum that fills the temple like water fills a vessel. The sound is not loud. It is soft, slow, and endless, like the tide returning again and again to the shore. Their chant honors the flame, honors the night, honors the unseen presence that watches gently over all things. The guardians of fire are not only protectors of light, they are keepers of memory. Through them, stories live on. Through them, the bond between human and divine remains unbroken. The flame is more than warmth. It is promise. It is life continuing, even when darkness spreads across the land. The night grows deeper. Outside, the world grows quiet. Within, the temple glows with steady firelight. Shadows dance across the walls. Shapes of birds, trees, and rivers seem to appear and fade. To the women, these shadows are not illusions, but messages. They believe the flame speaks in light and shadow, guiding them with visions. In the far corner, one guardian kneels by the great hearth. She places her hand gently over the flame, not touching it, but feeling its warmth. She whispers words to it, words that only the fire understands. To her, the flame is alive. It breathes, it listens, it remembers. She feels its warmth, not only on her skin, but in her spirit, as if her own heart is tied to the glowing core of light. Time drifts. The chanting slows, becoming softer, like the hush of wind through tall grass. One by one, the guardians rest their torches in golden stands. The light fills the temple like a calm sea, rippling across stone, touching every corner. The smoke of incense still rises, weaving upward like a ladder between earth and heaven. In this stillness, the temple itself seems to breathe. The columns stretch upward like trees, their carved crowns reaching toward the unseen sky. The roof glows faintly, touched by the last silver of the moon. The temple is not only stone and wood, it is a living body. And the fire is its soul. The women close their eyes. They listen to the silence between sounds. In that silence, they feel the presence of the divine. It is not a voice, not a face, but a gentle nearness, like the closeness of the air, like the touch of the night breeze on skin. The presence is endless, patient, watching, tender. One by one, the women open their eyes again. Their gazes are soft, their breathing slow. The flame has been tended. The temple is safe. The bond remains unbroken. For another night, the world will rest under the protection of this sacred fire. And so the women step back, robes flowing around them like waves in the dim light. They move into the shadows, leaving the flame to shine on its own. Yet the flame is never alone. It carries their devotion within it, their breath, their prayers, their hands. Even as they fade into darkness, the flame glows with their spirit. Outside, the night is now full. Stars scatter across the heavens like seeds across a field. The moon climbs higher, pouring silver light across rooftops and rivers. In the silence of the land, only the fire burns, steady and calm. The guardians lie down to rest. Their hearts are at peace. For in their care, the flame has not faltered. In their care, the bond of life has been carried onward. Tomorrow they will return. Tomorrow the fire will rise again. For now, only night remains. The temple breathes in shadows and light. The stars turn slowly overhead. The flame glows, eternal, quiet, warm. Rest with it. Let its glow carry you. Let its warmth soften your spirit. Now drift onward into the quiet night as the temple grows still. As the stars return, as the sacred flame continues to shine. The night unfolds slowly. A hush falls over the land, soft as a blanket of velvet. The air is cool, and the stars scatter like tiny sparks across the wide, dark sky. Above them all, the moon rises, round and luminous, bathing the earth in silver light. Its glow stretches over hills and rivers, touches the leaves of trees, and lingers upon stones polished by centuries of wind and rain. The moon does not hurry. It drifts upward with patience, as though it has always been there, as though it always will be. In ancient times, women watched this quiet rising with reverence. They saw the moon as a living guide, a great mirror reflecting the rhythms of the earth and the hidden rhythms within their own bodies. To them, the moon was not only light. It was a companion, a teacher, and a goddess. The daughters of the moon gathered in circles beneath its glow, sometimes in stone temples open to the night sky, sometimes in caves where the echoes of their voices wrapped around them like flowing water. They came not to speak loudly, but to sing softly, to chant in tones that followed the rising and falling of the moon itself. Each cycle of the moon told a story. When the moon was new, dark and hidden, it was a time for stillness, for seeds, for quiet beginnings unseen by the world. When the moon grew, swelling in silver light, it was a time of growth, of dreams taking form, of energy flowing like rivers. At the full moon, bright and whole, it was a time of fullness, of celebration, of prayers lifted high. And when the moon waned, fading back into shadow, it was a time of letting go, of rest, of surrender to the turning wheel of time. The women felt these rhythms deep within themselves. They followed the moon not only in the sky, but within the cycles of their own hearts and bodies. To them, the moon was a mirror of life, birth, growth, fullness, release, and return. Imagine the circle of priestesses, their faces lit in silver light. Their robes flow like streams, and their hair catches the glow of the moon. Their hands rise and fall in gentle gestures, moving as if in slow dance. They sing, and their voices echo against the stones, weaving a sound both human and otherworldly. The cave walls carry their song, sending it back to them in ripples of soft music. Their chants are simple, repeating like breath. Each note is steady, unhurried, like waves touching the shore again and again. In the silence between their voices, the night itself seems to listen. The trees stand still, the river holds its breath. The stars gaze downward. To the daughters of the moon, sound and silence were sacred threads. The chant was not meant to fill every space. It was meant to honor the space between, the quiet that holds all things. In this balance of song and stillness, they touched something eternal. Their ceremonies often began with water. A bowl, placed at the center of their circle, reflected the moon's light upon its surface. The water rippled gently, catching the glow in endless patterns. The women believed the moon spoke through water, through the shimmer of silver across its surface. Looking into the bowl was like looking into another world, a world of dreams, visions, and secrets. Some would close their eyes and see images, fields of wheat, rivers flowing, mothers holding children, stars falling. These were not random dreams. They were seen as gifts of the moon, glimpses of the deeper rhythm beneath the surface of life. As the chant continued, the women touched the ground with their palms. They felt the earth beneath them, cool and solid. Holding them in silence, they whispered words of gratitude, soft and low, thanking the moon for her light, the earth for its steadiness, the sky for its endless shelter. Their prayers were not of asking, but of listening. When the full moon shone high above, their ceremonies reached their most luminous moment. The silver glow covered their circle like a veil of light. They lifted their arms and moved slowly, turning like the moon turns, always in motion, always in cycle. Their movements were not for display. They were offerings, gestures of devotion, shaped like the crescent, the circle, the flowing river of time. For them, the moon was a mother, gentle, patient, watching over the night. She was a reminder that light can be soft and yet strong enough to guide travelers, shepherd animals, and stir the tides of seas. She was a reminder that darkness is never empty, for even in shadow the moon returns. The daughters of the moon also told stories. Around the fires, beneath the stars, they spoke of goddesses born from silver light. In some lands, they spoke of Selene, the Greek goddess who drove her chariot of shining horses across the sky. In others they told of Artemis, the huntress, fierce and free, guarding the wild places under the moon. Still others whispered the name of Astarte, the radiant star queen, or Chandra, the bright lunar god known in India. Though names were many, the feeling was the same. The moon was sacred. The moon was eternal. The moon carried the quiet power of the divine feminine, holding mystery in her glow. The chants slowed. The fire in the circle dimmed to glowing embers. The women sat in stillness, gazing at the sky, breathing with the earth. Their voices rested now, but the rhythm continued in their hearts. The cycle of the moon would go on, and they would follow it, as countless generations had done before. Outside the circle, night deepened. The wind moved gently through the grass, carrying the scent of earth and water. An owl called from the distance, its voice low and soft. The stars shimmered more brightly now, like companions watching the ceremony from afar. The moon reached its highest point, shining down with quiet majesty. Its light touched every stone, every tree, every face turned upward in reverence. In its glow, everything seemed connected. Sky, earth, water, and breath, all woven into one tapestry of silver and shadow. At last, the women lowered their heads. Their eyes grew heavy, their bodies calm. The chant had faded into silence, but its echo remained, flowing like a quiet river through their souls. The moonlight wrapped around them like a blanket, cool, soothing, eternal. The night belonged now to rest. The priestesses would dream, carried on silver tides of moonlight. Their hearts would follow the rhythm, steady as the turning of the sky. And when dawn came, the cycle would begin anew, as it always had. The temple of the moon was not bound by stone. It lived in every night sky, in every rhythm of breath, in every heart that looked upward in wonder. Now the moon shines on. Her silver glow lingers, calm and soft. Her presence watches, steady and kind, rest beneath her gaze, drift in her light, dream in her rhythm. The daughters of the moon sing still, in silence, in silver, in sleep. The night is calm. The air is soft, touched by the fragrance of earth, cooling after the warmth of day. A silver haze rests across the fields, and the stars open their eyes above. In this gentle stillness, a story begins to rise, like mist from water, carrying us toward the ancient figures known as the mothers of creation. They were remembered as more than women, more than goddesses. They were the breath of the world itself. Their arms held both earth and sky, their hearts pulsed with the rhythm of the seas, and their voices carried the lullaby of life. To whisper their names was to remember that all things, stone, water, seed, and star, sprang from one endless womb of the sacred. Long ago, when the earth was young, people looked for comfort in the cycles of life. They saw the soil bring forth harvest. They saw mothers give birth to children. They saw rivers pour into oceans and moons return each month to their silver fullness. To them, creation was not a single moment, but a living cycle, always beginning again. And at the center of this endless cycle, they saw the Great Mother. Some called her Isis. Some knew her as Cybele. Others spoke of Demeter, or Inanna, or Gaia. Different lands gave her different faces, yet the essence was always the same. She was the one who gave life. She was the one who nourished. She was the one who, even in sorrow, held the promise of renewal. Imagine a quiet temple, hidden in a grove of olive trees. The night air is cool and lamps flicker with warm, steady flames. Within the temple stands a tall figure of the Mother, carved from stone yet soft in presence. Her arms are open, as if inviting every soul into her embrace. Around her, priestesses lay offerings of grain, honey, milk, and flowers. These were gifts of the earth, returned to the one who gave them first. The priestesses sang to her. Their voices moved like gentle streams, flowing without haste. They sang of seeds breaking through soil. They sang of rain falling on thirsty ground. They sang of children born, and of rivers that carried life from one place to another. Each song was a reminder that nothing stands alone. All life is connected. All life is held within the Mother's embrace. In Egypt, the people told of Isis. She was both sorrow and strength, wife and widow, healer and queen. When her beloved Osiris was lost to the darkness, Isis searched for him with tireless devotion. She gathered his broken body, wept her tears upon him, and through her love and magic brought him to life again. To the people, her story was more than myth. It was a promise that even in loss, even in grief, the power of love could restore, could create, could make the world whole again. Traveling in spirit, the mind drifts to the mountains of Phrygia, where Cybele was honored. She was called the Great Mother of the Gods, the one who dwelled in wild places. Her temples echoed with the sound of drums deep and steady like the beating of the earth's own heart. To Cybele, mountains were sacred, rivers were sacred, every living thing pulsed with her energy. She was not only mother of people, but of lions, of trees, of wind rushing through canyons. Her presence was both fierce and tender, a reminder that creation holds both strength and softness. In Greece, Demeter was worshipped as the goddess of grain and harvest. Each ear of wheat, each field of barley was a reflection of her generosity, yet she was also a mother who knew grief. When her daughter Persephone was taken into the underworld, Demeter's sorrow fell upon the earth. Fields grew barren, rivers slowed, and winter covered the land. But when Persephone returned, joy awakened again and the fields turned green. Through her, people learned that seasons are not endings, but pauses, times of rest before life begins again. The mothers of creation carried many names, but each name was a thread in the same tapestry. They were the cycles of the moon, the turning of seasons, the birth and return of life. To honor them was to honor the world itself. In the stillness of night, you may imagine sitting by a river that reflects the stars. The water glimmers like liquid silver, and on its surface the moon lays down a shining path. You sit at the edge listening to the soft current. It sounds like breathing, like a heartbeat, like the song of the mothers of creation. In its rhythm you feel comfort. You feel the world cradled in arms unseen, yet always near. The myths of Isis, of Cybele, of Demeter are not only stories of the past, they are gentle reminders whispered across time. They remind us that the earth is generous, that cycles always return, and that love has power even in sorrow. They remind us that every seed holds tomorrow, every drop of water carries the ocean, and every breath is part of a greater song. As the night deepens, the stars shine more brightly. The temple grows quiet, the river flows on, and the mothers watch with unending patience. Their arms remain open, their hearts remain steady. The flame of life they guard never goes out. Rest now in their embrace. Let their stories cradle you. Let their songs drift through your dreams, soft as moonlight, steady as the earth beneath you. For the mothers of creation are near. Their love flows through soil and star. Their voice whispers in wind and water, and as you close your eyes, you are held in their eternal arms. Now let us drift onward, carried by their song as the night deepens, and the stars return. The night is gentle. A veil of stillness rests over the world, as if time itself has paused. The stars glow like distant lamps, and the moon casts its pale light over ancient stones. In this quiet hour, the story of fire begins to rise, steady and calm, like a flame that has never gone out. Long ago, in the heart of Rome, there burned a fire unlike any other. It was no ordinary fire, no simple spark from wood or coal. It was the sacred flame of Vesta, goddess of the hearth. This flame was believed to guard the life of the city, to keep it warm, to protect it from ruin. As long as the fire lived, so too would Rome endure. But fire, as gentle as it can be, needs care. It must be watched, tended, sheltered from wind and neglect. And so, in hushed devotion, priestesses known as the Vestals gave their lives to the flame. They were chosen as young girls, set apart from the noise of the world, and guided into a life of sacred silence. Their duty was simple yet eternal. They kept the fire alive. Imagine walking through the stone streets of ancient Rome. The air carries the faint scent of burning wood. You pass markets now closing in the twilight, and voices grow softer as lamps are lit. Ahead, you see the round temple of Vesta, standing quiet among the great marble buildings. It is small, yet its presence is strong. Inside, the flame glows, bright yet calm, steady as a heartbeat. The Vestal virgins move in silence around it. Their white robes flow like soft clouds. Their steps are measured, their faces serene. They feed the flame with fresh wood, whispering prayers as they tend it. To them, the fire is not only heat and light, it is the spirit of the city, the breath of the goddess, the center around which all life turns. In the stillness of the temple, the air is warm, touched by smoke that rises in soft curls toward the roof. The flicker of fire paints gentle shadows on stone walls. The priestesses sit nearby, watching, waiting, listening. Every sound, the crackle of the flame, the sigh of night wind outside, the distant echo of hooves on cobblestone, becomes part of a sacred rhythm. The people of Rome looked upon the Vestals with deep respect. For 30 years, each woman devoted her life to this service. She was more than a guardian of fire. She was a symbol of purity, of protection, of the unseen threads that hold a community together. The city could wage wars, build temples, and raise empires. But without the flame of Vesta, all would feel empty, unguarded, exposed. The flame was more than a symbol of Rome. It was a mirror of life itself. Like the fire, the human spirit needs tending. It must be fed with care, guarded against winds of despair, shielded from neglect. The priestesses, in their devotion, reminded the world that the smallest light can hold the weight of an entire city. In the dreamlike quiet of the temple, you may imagine yourself near the flame. You sit on smooth stone, feeling the warmth brush against your skin. The light flickers on your closed eyelids, a golden dance behind the veil of sleep. Around you, the Vestals keep their silent watch. Their presence is steady, unbroken, calm. You feel safe, as though the fire burns not only for the city, but for you, for your breath, for your rest. There were stories told about the flame. Some said it came from the dawn of Rome itself, kindled by the first kings. Others whispered that Vesta herself had breathed it into being, setting her spirit upon the hearth. To let it die would be unthinkable. To keep it alive was to keep the bond between heaven and earth unbroken. At times, storms would sweep across Rome. Thunder rolled, rain fell, winds roared through the streets. Yet inside the temple, the flame endured. The Vestals shielded it, fed it, guarded it with their own bodies if they must. Their devotion was quiet but unshakable. Like the earth beneath, like the stars above, their service continued, steady as time. And so the flame burned on, century after century. Emperors rose and fell. Wars were fought and forgotten. Temples crumbled. And yet within the round walls of Vesta's temple, the fire glowed. Always warm, always living. A light that asked for nothing but care, and in return gave comfort to all who believed. In this way, the flame of Vesta became more than a Roman story. It became a timeless truth. Every heart holds such a flame, a soft light that needs tending, a quiet spark that carries warmth through the dark. When guarded with care, it endures. It becomes the strength that protects, the light that guides, the warmth that comforts. The Vestal virgins knew this truth. They did not shout it. They did not write it on scrolls or carve it into stone. They lived it, breath by breath, hour by hour, in silence. Their lives became the message. Their devotion became the prayer, and through them, the city remembered that what is sacred is often small, quiet, and constant. Now the night deepens. The temple rests under the gaze of countless stars. The city outside falls into silence. In the round chamber, the flame continues to glow. Its light is soft, its warmth steady. The priestesses remain close, their eyes calm, their hearts unwavering. In this moment, let the story itself become the fire. Let its words warm you, steady you, comfort you. The crackle of flame becomes the rhythm of your breath. The light becomes the calm that fills your mind. The silence of the priestesses becomes the stillness of your own heart. Rest now in the glow of the eternal flame. Feel its warmth protect you. Feel its light guide you into dreams. The priestesses remain, tending the fire, watching over the city, watching over you. Their devotion never fades. Their silence is your silence. Their peace is your peace. Now drift onward as the fire glows. Now rest as the stars return. Now sleep, held within the warmth of the flame. The night deepens, and silence stretches across the land. The stars shimmer above like countless lamps, each one soft and distant, each one watching. Beneath their glow, the great river lies calm. The Nile flows like a ribbon of silver through the heart of the earth, carrying with it the dreams of countless ages. Its waters move without hurry, steady, eternal, whispering to those who lean close enough to listen. It is here upon these sacred waters that the spirit of Isis lingers. She is the goddess of healing and magic, of love and protection. She is the mother who weeps, the sister who seeks, the healer who mends what has been broken. Her river carries stories as old as memory itself, stories of sorrow and of renewal, stories that remind the soul that no ending is final, and that every loss is followed by new birth. The banks of the Nile are lined with reeds that sway gently in the night breeze. Palm trees stand like guardians, their shadows stretching across the moonlit ground. The air is warm, touched with the faint scent of lotus blossoms opening to the stars. Somewhere in the distance, a heron lifts its wings, slow and graceful, gliding low over the water. The river receives its flight, calm and unbroken, rippling only for a moment before returning to stillness. In the old stories, Isis wandered these banks in search of her beloved Osiris. He had been taken from her, broken and hidden across the world. Yet she did not give in to despair. With patience, with quiet devotion, she gathered the scattered pieces one by one, holding them to her heart. Through her magic, through her tears, she brought him back to life, if only for a moment. From their love, their union, came Horus, the falcon child, the hope of renewal. As the river moves, it carries this story within it. Every ripple is a memory of Isis's search. Every wave is a reminder that love can reach beyond death, beyond loss, beyond time itself. To drift upon these waters is to feel the rhythm of her heart, a rhythm that beats still, in every act of kindness, in every quiet prayer, in every breath of hope. The people of Egypt once placed offerings on the river's edge, jars of honey, small loaves of bread, fragrant oils, and garlands of flowers. They believed the river itself was a body of the goddess, a living spirit that nourished the land and gave it life. When the Nile rose and flooded the fields, they saw it not as destruction, but as blessing. The waters spread rich soil across the land, and crops grew in abundance. Through flood and renewal, Isis whispered her eternal truth, that endings are never the end, and that life always returns. Close your eyes and listen now. The water flows in an endless lullaby. Its sound is soft, like 1,000 whispers blending into one. The reeds rustle, and the nightbirds call gently to one another. You feel yourself floating upon a small boat, drifting with the current. The stars above like silver guardians. The boat rocks slowly, steady and calm, carrying you deeper into the heart of the story. Isis is near. Her presence is gentle, like a mother watching over her child. You may imagine her standing by the riverbank, her robes flowing like water, her crown shaped with the golden throne that marks her divinity. In her hands, she carries the Ankh, the symbol of life eternal. Her eyes are filled with compassion, deep and endless, holding both the sorrow of loss and the comfort of healing. To look upon her is to feel safe, as though no darkness could ever touch you again. The river bends and winds, as all rivers do. Sometimes it narrows, flowing swift and strong. Other times it widens, spreading into calm pools where the stars reflect upon its surface. In each curve, in each ripple, the spirit of Isis lingers. She is the current that pulls, the surface that glimmers, the depth that holds quiet mysteries. The story of Isis is not only one of grief, but of resilience. Though she lost what she loved most, she created from that loss a gift for the world. She became the symbol of protection, the mother of kings, the guide for souls who journeyed into the afterlife. Her magic was not born from power alone, but from tenderness, from patience, from the courage to mend what had been broken. As you drift, you feel the river within yourself. There are currents of memory, streams of feeling, tides of joy and sorrow that flow through your heart. Like the Nile, they rise and fall. Like Isis, you carry the strength to endure, to heal, to begin again. The river teaches without words, reminding you that even in the stillest waters, life moves onward. The night deepens. The moon climbs higher, casting its silver glow across the world. The air cools, the palm trees whisper, and the boat continues its slow, steady path. Your body grows heavier, sinking into rest. Your mind grows lighter, carried by the gentle flow of the story. The river of Isis continues, endless and eternal. Its waters have seen empires rise and fall, yet still it flows, unchanged. So too does her spirit endure, carried in the hearts of those who remember. A goddess of love, of magic, of healing. A river of renewal that whispers through time, reminding all who listen that nothing is ever truly lost. Now let the waters carry you deeper into peace. Let the current rock you like a cradle. Let the stars guide you, as they once guided the priestesses who sang to the river in ancient nights. The flame of sorrow fades, replaced by the calm glow of eternal return. Rest now upon the waters of Isis. Rest as the river flows through you. Rest as love holds you in its arms. The boat drifts onward. The river whispers, and the goddess watches, always. Now sleep as the stars return. The night drapes itself over the world, soft and endless. The air is still, yet filled with quiet echoes from long ago. Beneath the stars, the land of Sumer breathes in memory. The rivers of the Tigris and the Euphrates wind like twin ribbons of silver through the darkness, glimmering beneath the moon. Their waters move slowly, carrying the voices of those who once sang to the goddess of heaven. In this dreamlike hush, you hear the faintest sound. It begins as a murmur, a hum rising like mist from the earth. Then gently it grows. It is the song of the temple, women of Sumer. Their voices rise and fall like waves, weaving together into a river of sound that flows toward the goddess Inanna. Each note is a prayer, each breath a bridge between earth and sky. The temple where they sing is vast and golden. Its walls are made of sun-baked brick, glowing softly in the moonlight. Torches burn low, their flames flickering like watchful eyes. Incense drifts upward in pale curls, carrying sweetness into the night. Within this sacred space, the women stand in quiet circles, their hands lifted, their lips parting in gentle praise. The air is thick with devotion, yet peaceful, as though the world itself has stopped to listen. Inanna is the goddess they call to. She is the Lady of Heaven, bright as the morning star, fierce as the evening one. She is both love and war, tenderness and power, beauty and storm. The women of the temple know her not only as a queen, but as a mother, a sister, a friend. Through their songs, they invite her presence, and in return she grants them strength, wisdom, and the comfort of her gaze. The hymns are not hurried. They unfold slowly, like petals opening to the moon. One voice begins, soft and low, carrying a melody that drifts like wind across the reeds. Another joins, then another, until the hall is filled with layers of sound, flowing and folding upon themselves. Their tones rise, then sink, then rise again, mirroring the breath of the earth itself. It is music without end, like the current of a great river. If you listen closely, you can hear the words hidden within their voices. They sing of Inanna descending into the underworld, brave enough to face silence and shadow. They sing of her return, radiant and renewed, carrying the strength of death and life within her. They sing of her gifts, love that heals, passion that burns, courage that protects, and wisdom that guides. Each story flows into the next, woven into melody, so that time itself seems to dissolve into song. The women's voices are not alone. Soft drums beat in the distance, steady as a heartbeat. A harp sings its strings, delicate as starlight. The rhythm sways like footsteps on sacred ground, guiding the listener deeper into stillness. Together, voice and instrument form a cradle of sound, holding the soul in gentle arms. Beyond the temple walls, the city of Ur sleeps. Clay houses stand in silence. Fires burn low in courtyards, their smoke rising into the sky. Children dream, elders rest, animals curl into sleep. But here in the temple, the women keep their vigil. They sing not for themselves alone, but for the whole city. for every heart that longs for peace. Their voices are offerings, rising like doves into the night. You drift closer to their song. You can almost feel it wrapping around you like silk, like water, like the embrace of someone who knows your soul. Each note hums against your skin, steady and soothing. Each breath they take is mirrored in your own, drawing you into a slower rhythm, a softer rhythm. The song becomes a bridge, carrying you from the waking world into the land of dreams. Inanna's presence is near. She does not arrive with thunder or fire, but with quiet grace. You may imagine her as a figure cloaked in starlight, her crown shining like Venus in the night sky. Her eyes are deep pools of compassion, yet they hold the spark of strength. She listens as the women sing, and in their devotion she finds her reflection. The goddess and her daughters are one, bound together by the sacred thread of song. The hymn turns, now softer, now slower. It is like the end of a long day, when the sun sinks behind the horizon and the earth exhales. The voices lower, becoming whispers. The harp quiets, the drum fades, silence drifts into the temple once more, like a blanket gently drawn across sleeping shoulders. The women bow their heads, their prayers carried fully into the night. Yet the song does not end. It lingers in the air, invisible yet present, like a fragrance that clings long after the flower has gone. It seeps into the stones of the temple, into the waters of the rivers, into the hearts of all who hear it. Even now, across centuries, across distance, their voices still reach us. They remind us that devotion can be simple. A breath, a word, a melody. Each can become a path to the divine. You float in their memory. You feel the river of their song flowing through you. It carries away the weight of the day, the noise of thought, the sharpness of worry. It leaves only stillness, only calm, only the soft rhythm of breath. The goddess watches, the women sing, and you are held in the circle of their care. The night grows deeper. The stars shimmer brighter. The temple fades into dream, yet the song remains, echoing faintly, endlessly. You are safe within it. You are carried by it. You are at rest. Let the hymn guide you onward. Let the silence embrace you. Now rest as the stars return. The night is hushed and cool. A pale moon rests above the mountains of Greece, and the valley below lies still as if cradled in sleep. Olive trees whisper softly in the breeze. Their silver leaves catch the starlight, shimmering like tiny mirrors of the heavens. Along a winding path, a sacred place awaits, hidden among stone and shadow. This is Delphi, the navel of the world. Here, the temple of Apollo stands in solemn silence. Columns rise like guardians of light even in the darkness. The stones are warm with memory, as though they still hold the footsteps of pilgrims who once came seeking answers. All around, the air carries the weight of prayer and the gentle echo of forgotten hymns. Beyond the temple walls lies a quiet cave. Its entrance yawns like the mouth of the earth itself, yet its depths hold only stillness. Within, shadows move like water, touched by the glow of a single flame. Here rests the seat of the oracle. This is where the priestess sat, breathing in the sacred vapors, her spirit lifted between worlds. The cave is not heavy with darkness. It feels soft, womb-like, a shelter of stone. The air is thick with warmth, carrying the faint scent of laurel leaves and smoke. Somewhere deep below, hidden springs murmur their quiet music. The oracle listens, the earth speaks, and she becomes its voice. Her body sways gently like a reed in the wind. Her breath is slow, deep, almost like sleep. As the vapors rise around her, visions stir like birds in a dream. They are not sharp, not loud. They come as drifting shapes, soft colors, whispers that touch her heart more than her ear. She does not command them. She simply receives. Around her, priests wait in silence. They hold their torches low, their eyes lowered. They know the words will come like ripples across still water, slow and inevitable. The oracle begins to move her lips. Her voice is not loud, not hurried. It falls like drops of rain, one by one, into the pool of the temple's stillness. Her words are fragments, yet full of meaning. They are not instructions, not orders, but images. Mountains, rivers, birds in flight, the rising of the sun, the bending of a tree in the wind. Those who listen will interpret, shaping prophecy into the patterns of their own lives. But in this moment, it is enough to simply hear. The rhythm of her voice is like a song without end, soothing, entrancing, endless. The oracle is not alone. Apollo's presence is near. He is the god of light, of music, of vision. The cave glows faintly as though his radiance touches its walls. His spirit weaves into the oracle's breath, lending strength to her song. It is said his lyre could calm even storms, and here his harmony flows through her, steady and sure. The dance of the oracle is not one of steps and movements. It is a dance of spirit, of breath, of surrender. Her body sways gently, in rhythm with the hidden springs, in rhythm with the silent heart of the earth. Each movement is small, yet each holds grace. She is both here and not here, both woman and vessel, both dreamer and dream. You drift closer to her presence. You do not need to understand the words. Their meaning is not in the mind, but in the heart. They carry peace, the way a lullaby carries sleep. They wash over you like a tide, like warm rain, like a mother's whisper in the quiet of night. Every sound eases you deeper, softer, quieter. Outside the cave, the temple is still. The stones hold their silence. The air is cool with night. Far above, the constellations glow in their eternal dance. Orion strides across the sky. The Pleiades shimmer like a cluster of tiny candles. The heavens, too, are oracles, speaking through patterns and light. The oracle's voice fades, softer now, like the last echo of a harp. Her body grows still, her head bowed. The vapors thin, the flame flickers low. The priests gather her in silence, carrying her words carefully as if they were fragile glass. But you remain in the hush of the cave, resting in the peace that lingers after prophecy. The cave becomes a cradle. The earth hums beneath you, slow and steady. The hidden springs sing a lullaby. The last embers of the torch glow like starlight caught on stone. The oracle's breath fades into memory, yet her song remains. It rests in the air like fragrance, like a secret carried by the night. And so, the dance of the oracle continues within you, not as visions, not as prophecy, but as calm. Her rhythm becomes your rhythm. Her quiet becomes your quiet. The world outside drifts away, leaving only the deep stillness of sleep. Let us drift onward now. Let the cave close behind you like a door into dream. The stars return. The night holds you. You are safe. You are at rest. Night settles gently across the desert. The air cools, the heat of the day slipping away like smoke. Above, the sky unfolds into endless velvet, heavy with stars. Each one flickers like a lamp in some far-off temple. The sand glows pale in the starlight, quiet, still, stretching into infinity. It is in this wide silence that the desert mothers walked. They were women who left the busy cities, the crowded markets, the echo of voices. They turned their steps toward the wilderness. Here in the open desert, they found a vastness that mirrored the soul. Here they carried only their prayers, their breath, and the great sky above them. The desert was not empty to them. It was alive with presence. The winds whispered like gentle guides. The stones beneath their feet felt steady, grounding, ancient. The stars above seemed to lean closer, listening. In the quiet, the heart opened like a flower. These women were seekers. They carried no crown, no wealth, no worldly power. Yet their stillness became a kind of light. They prayed through the long hours of night, their voices soft as water trickling through sand. They sat beneath palm trees, listening to the rustle of leaves like the pages of an unseen book. Every breath became prayer. Every step was a pilgrimage. One sat in a small cave, her hands resting in her lap. Her eyes closed, she breathed slowly, deeply. Her mind was not filled with many thoughts. Instead, it drifted like a bird across wide skies. Sometimes she whispered the names of the divine, and her words dissolved into silence, as if the desert itself was answering. Another walked the dunes at dawn. The horizon glowed with soft gold, and the air was cool, almost tender. Her footprints pressed into the sand, only to be erased moments later by the wind. She smiled gently, for this was a teaching. All things pass, all things return to stillness. Her heart rested in that truth. The desert mothers spoke little, yet their lives became teachings. They told those who visited them that the soul is like a flame. If guarded in stillness, it burns steady and bright. But if stirred too often by noise, it flickers and fades. So they tended their inner fires as carefully as one might guard a lamp in the dark. Travelers sometimes sought them out, walking long roads to find their wisdom. The women did not turn them away, but they did not offer long speeches or loud lessons. Instead, they welcomed them with silence, with a bowl of water, with the shade of a tree. And in that quiet, the travelers found answers already stirring in their own hearts. The desert was their monastery. Its vastness was their scripture. The stars above were their teachers, steady and eternal. Each night, as darkness deepened, they looked upward. They saw Orion rise, the Pleiades shimmer, the Milky Way spill across the heavens like a river of light. And in that sight, they felt their own souls dissolve into the endless. You drift with them now. The sands are cool beneath your feet. The silence is wide but not heavy. It holds you gently, like a cradle. Every step you take is slow, unhurried, calm. You breathe in the desert air. It is clear, thin, filled with starlight. You pause beneath a lone acacia tree. Its branches stretch like arms into the sky. From its shade, the horizon looks softer. The curve of the dunes seems to rise and fall like the breath of the earth itself. The desert mothers often rested beneath such trees, listening to the wind sing through the branches, learning patience from their still roots. Far away, a small fire glows. One of the mothers sits beside it, wrapped in her shawl. The flame is steady, its smoke curling upward like prayer. Her face is lined with age, yet her eyes shine with peace. She does not speak, yet her silence tells a story. It speaks of surrender, of calm, of the deep joy found in emptiness. As you sit with her, the fire's glow warms your skin. Its light flickers against the sand, painting gentle shapes. Above, the stars continue their eternal watch. Your breath slows. Your heart quiets. You feel yourself dissolving into the same stillness she carries, the same endless peace. The desert night deepens. A crescent moon hangs low, silver and thin. The winds soften, carrying with them the fragrance of unseen flowers blooming in the cool. Every sound is gentle. The shifting of sand, the crackle of firewood, the distant call of a night bird. Together they weave a lullaby. The desert mothers remain, timeless, steady, like the stars themselves. Their prayers float upward into the night, rising with the smoke, carried on the wind. They do not cling to tomorrow or yesterday. They rest in the eternal present, vast as the desert, bright as the sky. Now the fire grows low. The sands cool further. The night wraps you like a cloak. You close your eyes. The silence of the desert enters you. It is not empty. It is full of peace. The mothers keep their vigil. Their hearts burn with quiet devotion. Their stillness becomes your stillness. Their breath becomes your breath. And so, you rest with them, carried by the vast arms of the night. Let us drift onward now. The stars return. The sands whisper softly. You are safe. You are held. Now rest as the desert itself breathes you into sleep. The night opens slowly, like a flower at dusk. A cool wind moves across the fields, carrying the scent of damp earth and early blossoms. Above, the sky is wide and dark, a canvas scattered with patient stars. The land rests in quiet anticipation, waiting for the gentle hands of women who knew how to bless the earth. They were the guardians of fertility, women who carried within them the rhythm of life itself. Their voices rose in prayers to unseen powers, soft as lullabies, steady as rain. They walked the fields at dawn, scattering seeds and blessings together, knowing that both must take root for harvest to come. Close your eyes and drift into this ancient memory. See the firelight flickering against stone walls, where mothers and daughters gather in circles. Their hands are full of grain, their hair scented with wild herbs. They sing to the earth, to the sky, to the mysteries that weave life from silence. In Greece, women honored Demeter, the goddess who taught them how to sow and reap. At her temples, offerings of bread and honey were placed upon the altar. The women prayed for rain that would fall gently, for sun that would warm but not scorch, for soil that would cradle the seeds like a womb. The fields became sacred spaces, and every stalk of wheat was seen as a gift from the goddess herself. In Egypt, prayers rose to Hathor, the mother of joy and love. Her image was carved with cow's horns holding the sun, a symbol of life nourished and sustained. Women whispered to her as they rocked their newborns, asking her to bless milk, to bless growth, to bless the breath of infants just learning to cry. The river Nile itself was seen as her gift, its waters rising and falling like the breath of a great mother. Across the deserts, across the green valleys, across the mountains, women carried this devotion. They laid their hands upon seeds before planting, murmuring blessings as though speaking directly to the soil. They touched the foreheads of children, tracing signs of protection in the air. Even in silence, their presence was a prayer, their breath a blessing, their care a bridge between heaven and earth. Imagine standing with them at the edge of a field. The earth has just been turned, its scent rich and grounding. The women move slowly, each step deliberate. They scatter seeds with one hand, and with the other they draw patterns in the air, gestures that echo old prayers. The wind carries their voices into the sky. Every note feels like a promise, every word like a seed of its own. Seasons turned beneath their watchful eyes. When the fields grew green, they sang songs of gratitude. When storms threatened, they lit fires and prayed for protection. When the harvest came, they gave thanks with dances and feasts, knowing that their devotion had helped guide the earth's bounty. They were not only planting food, they were planting life, faith, and hope. In Mesopotamia, the hymns of Inanna told of cycles of death and renewal. The women of her temples sang through the long nights, their voices like streams of water weaving through dry soil. Their songs called forth fertility not just in crops, but in the heart, in the womb, in the soul of the people. To them, every birth was holy, every seed a miracle, every sprout a sign that life continues without end. The guardians of fertility knew that every blessing was fragile. The earth could be kind, or it could be harsh. Rain could nourish, or it could destroy. So their prayers were steady, unceasing. In each whispered word, they sought harmony between human hands and the powers of nature. And in this harmony, life was able to flourish. You drift with them now beneath a silver moon. You hear the soft murmur of women gathered at the edge of the water, their voices flowing like a gentle tide. Some hold jars of grain, some carry flowers, some cradle infants in their arms. They bow their heads, their lips moving with words that sound like waves and wind. Even if you cannot hear their language, you feel its power. It is a language of life, of care, of endless renewal. The night deepens, but their circle holds steady. Candles flicker in the dark, flames bending like stalks of wheat in the breeze. They chant slowly, each sound falling into rhythm with the beating of your heart. The sound is soft but sure, a lullaby sung not just for children, but for the earth itself. Think of the seeds resting underground, silent, unseen, waiting. The guardians knew that patience was its own kind of prayer. They waited as the earth worked quietly, as roots stretched downward, as green shoots reached upward. In their waiting, they mirrored the stillness of the soil. They, too, carried life quietly until the time was right for it to bloom. When children were born, the guardians gathered. They wrapped the infants in soft cloth, rocking them beneath the watch of stars. They whispered blessings into tiny ears, words that promised safety, health, and love. To them, each child was a seed as precious as those buried in the earth. Each breath of a newborn was like the first sprout breaking the soil, fragile yet full of possibility. As you rest now, imagine yourself lying upon soft grass in the warmth of summer. The stars are above you, the earth is beneath you, and the air carries a fragrance of ripe fruit and blooming flowers. The guardians move around you, their steps light, their songs steady. Their voices are woven with the sound of crickets, the rustle of leaves, the distant trickle of water. All of creation feels like a lullaby. They teach through their stillness, through their care, through the simple act of blessing what is small and fragile. Their hands, their voices, their prayers, all are bridges between the human heart and the eternal. The earth listens to them. The skies respond. The seasons turn beneath their watchful eyes. Now the fields lie quiet again. The seeds rest in the soil, safe, hidden, waiting for the kiss of rain. The guardians close their eyes, their hands resting gently on the ground. They trust in what they cannot see. They trust in the cycle that never ends. And so you too may rest. The earth holds you as surely as it holds its seeds. The stars shine over you as they shone over the guardians of old. You are part of this great cycle, safe within its embrace. Let us drift onward now. The candles grow dim. The fields grow still. The voices fade into the silence of night. Now rest as the stars return, and the guardians keep watch in your dreams. Night descends softly over the Aegean. The sea sighs with a rhythm as steady as breathing. Above it, the stars shimmer like quiet lanterns scattered across the velvet sky. On the island of Crete, warm breezes drift across stone courtyards and olive groves, carrying the scent of earth, herbs, and salt. The ancient city rests in stillness. Columns rise like silent guardians, painted with fading colors, holding memory in their strength. Beneath the glow of the moon, the palace of Knossos whispers its secrets, its walls carved with spirals, its chambers echoing faint traces of songs once sung. The night invites you inward, toward the heart of this sacred place. In a hidden chamber, soft lamps burn with gentle fire. The air holds the quiet perfume of resin and honeyed wine. At the center, a priestess stands, draped in robes of flowing fabric, colors woven from earth and sea. Her gaze is calm. Her breath is steady. In her hands, she lifts serpents, their bodies curling and coiling like flowing rivers. They are not feared. They are not cast aside. They are honored, symbols of the earth, of cycles that turn unseen, of renewal that rises from what has fallen. To hold the serpent is to hold the secret of life, ever shedding, ever returning, ever alive. The priestess moves with grace. Each step is measured, each motion slow as though guided by the very pulse of the earth. Around her, painted walls show spirals, lilies and waves, reminders of the bond between sea, soil, and sky. She is the bridge between worlds, her body carrying ancient knowing, her voice uniting silence with song. The serpent in her hands seems to breathe with her. Its body shines faintly in the glow of flame, a ribbon of living light. When it turns, it catches the shadows and bends them into patterns, like water rippling at night. The people once gathered to watch. They would sit quietly, their hearts stilled, as though the presence of the serpent opened a deeper rhythm within their souls. For in its winding coils, they saw the pattern of rivers carving stone. They saw the spiral of shells found by the shore. They saw the endless wheel of seasons, birth, decay, and renewal, woven together in one continuous dance. To them, the serpent was not a creature of fear, but of wisdom. It belonged to the hidden soil where seeds break open. It belonged to the unseen depths where mysteries sleep. The priestess knew these truths. Her hands, steady and gentle, honored the serpent as she honored the earth. Her heart beat with a fierce serenity, strong yet tender, calm yet unshakable. Through her, the people remembered that all life, even what hides beneath, is part of the great turning of being. Now, let us drift deeper into her temple. Torches flicker softly. Their flames bend and bow, casting golden arcs upon the walls. The chamber is cool, carved into stone, yet warmed by the presence of many prayers whispered here. The floor is smooth, worn by countless steps of women who came before, carrying wisdom, bearing symbols, speaking with the earth. Imagine the hush, a silence not empty, but full of listening, full of breath, full of the heartbeat of the world. The serpent priestess moves slowly across the chamber. Her arms open, her eyes half closed, as though seeing beyond the visible. In her rhythm there is no rush, only the endless cycle unfolding. She pauses before a bowl filled with water. The surface reflects her face and the wavering light of fire. She lowers the serpent near the water, and the ripples spread outward in soft rings like time itself expanding. In the reflection, earth and sky meet. Her image dissolves and reforms with every ripple, as though reminding her that identity itself is a dance of change. The people believed that the serpents carried messages from the deep places, from caverns where hidden springs dwell, from the underworld where ancestors rest, from the secret folds of the soil where roots weave their silent networks. To lift them was to listen. To listen was to honor the quiet voice of the earth. The priestess listens now. Her eyes close, her breathing slows. In the silence, she hears the turning of the world, the hum of unseen life, the shifting of roots, the gentle labor of the soil renewing itself. And in that hum, she hears the promise of rebirth. The serpents coil, then rest, as if mirroring her stillness. Their tongues flicker in and out, like threads stitching the unseen air. To watch them is to be reminded of cycles that never break. The shed skin is left behind, but the life continues. The seed falls into darkness, yet a green shoot rises. The moon vanishes for a night, yet returns again whole and shining. The priestess embodies this truth. She is not only a woman, but a symbol, a vessel of mysteries too deep for words. Her presence is both gentle and unyielding, like water shaping stone. Those who saw her felt peace, for she carried in her hands the assurance that all endings are beginnings, and that the earth never forgets its own song. Outside, the winds touch the sea. The waves roll with quiet voices, washing stone and shore with patient care. The night sky, wide and unbroken, stretches above Crete. Stars glimmer like seeds scattered in dark soil, each one glowing with its own secret fire. The temple rests beneath them, a cradle of stone holding its silent rites. The priestess continues her dance, not hurried, not bound, only flowing like the eternal cycle she serves. The serpents move with her, threads of living earth raised toward the light. She raises her hands higher. The serpents lift their heads as though greeting the sky. For a moment, time itself seems to hold still. Earth and heavens meet in her gesture. The serpent connects what is below to what is above. The priestess stands at the center, serene, unshaken, radiant with ancient knowing. And so the story lingers, soft and slow, like a gentle lull of waves upon the shore. The serpent priestess, fierce yet serene, remains in memory as a keeper of wisdom, a guardian of the unseen, a voice of the earth itself. Her dance continues in silence, even when eyes are closed, even when the chamber grows quiet, even when centuries pass, for the spiral does not end. The cycle does not break. The earth continues to whisper its secrets through soil, through seed, through serpent, and those who rest with open hearts may hear, faintly, the same eternal rhythm. Now, the night deepens. The flames burn lower, their light softening into embers. The chamber fades into shadow, yet its memory remains, glowing like a hidden jewel. The sea outside breathes in slow tides. The stars linger, steady and watchful. Let your mind rest in this gentle rhythm, like the serpent's coil, like the priestess's breath, like the sea against the shore. You may drift now, carried by the cycle, safe in its endless turning. The earth holds you, the stars guide you. The ancient dance continues. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return. The night is still. The stars stretch wide across the sky, endless and watchful. Their light falls gently upon the earth, soft as the touch of a dream. Beneath them, silence gathers like a blanket, covering the hills, the forests, and the rivers. The world is hushed as though listening, and within this quiet, a story unfolds. A story of threads, a story of weaving, a story of women who shaped the flow of all things with hands both gentle and unyielding. Far away in the north, snow rests upon the mountains. The trees stand tall and solemn, their branches heavy with frost. At the roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil, 3 figures sit in timeless vigil. They are the Norns, ancient and serene. Their presence is calm yet powerful. One holds the past in her gaze. Another tends the present, shaping it with care. The third watches the future, her eyes deep as the endless night sky. Together they weave, their hands moving in rhythm with the heartbeat of the world. Threads stretch from their fingers, threads of light, threads of shadow, threads that shimmer with every color of life. Each thread belongs to a soul. Some are short and bright, some are long and tangled. Some cross and knot together, forming bonds and stories. The loom of the Norns never rests. It sings softly, a sound like wind through pine trees, like the rush of water under ice. Across the sea in the lands of Greece, another weaving unfolds. There the Moirai, the Fates, move with equal grace. Clotho spins the thread of each life, drawing it forth as fine as silk. Lachesis measures it, deciding how far it will stretch, how long it will endure. And Atropos, quiet and steady, holds the shears that one day will close the circle. They work not with cruelty, but with calm. Their weaving is not punishment, but pattern. Every thread is part of the tapestry. Every life, no matter how brief or long, carries its own glow in the fabric of time. The Moirai do not speak loudly. Their voices are whispers, softer than the rustle of leaves at dusk. Yet those whispers shape empires, guide kings, cradle children, and turn the seasons. Gods themselves listen to their weaving, for none can escape the fabric once woven. And in other lands, under other skies, more voices join the loom. The parquet of Rome. The wise women of countless tribes and villages, who sat by firesides, spinning and weaving with hands that seemed ordinary, yet carried echoes of something greater. Across cultures, across ages, the image remains. Women with threads, with spindles, with looms, guiding what is unseen into form. For weaving is not only a task of cloth, it is a symbol. It is the gentle reminder that life itself is woven, that each day is a thread, that each choice is a knot, that each meeting is a crossing of strands. In the quiet halls of imagination, let us drift closer to the loom. Picture the soft glow of lanterns, the steady hum of thread being pulled, the way colors gather, some bright, some deep, some hidden in the weave until light strikes them just so. The weavers sit in silence, yet their silence is alive. Their hands move without haste. Each gesture is patient, measured, eternal. It is not a rush to finish, but a devotion to the pattern itself. Imagine your own thread among the many. It glows softly, neither brighter nor dimmer than the rest. It crosses with others, creating bonds that shimmer, creating stories that endure. It bends, it twists, it continues. You cannot see its end nor its full length, but you feel its place in the tapestry. It belongs. It always has. The Norns dipped their hands into the well of fate, where waters shimmer with memory. Each drop carries the song of what has been and what may come. They tend the roots of the world tree, ensuring it remains alive, nourished by the flow of destiny. Without their care, even the mightiest branches would wither. Through their weaving, the world breathes. The Moirai, in their quiet chamber, work with equal devotion. Their loom creaks softly, its sound echoing like the pulse of time. When Clotho spins, the air stirs. When Lachesis measures, the silence deepens. When Atropos lifts her shears, even the stars seem to pause. Not in fear, but in reverence, for endings too are part of the beauty. Imagine a tapestry spread wide across the heavens, each thread glowing like starlight, each crossing forming constellations of meaning. What looks tangled from up close reveals harmony from afar. What seems random in the moment becomes clear in the whole. The weavers see this wholeness. They do not fret over knots or twists, for they know the design stretches beyond sight. They trust the pattern, and in their trust, peace flows. And so can you, drifting now in the calm of their loom. Your thread is safe. It is tended with care. It is part of something vast, luminous, eternal. The night deepens. The stars shimmer more softly, as though dimming their light to let sleep arrive. The loom continues its steady song, softer now, like the echo of a lullaby. The hands of the weavers move slower, yet never stop. Their patience is endless. Their devotion eternal. Let yourself rest within their weaving. Let your breath rise and fall like the threads being spun. Let your mind drift like a leaf upon their tapestry. Here there is no fear of unraveling. Here you are part of the eternal design. The story closes gently. The Norns remain at the roots of the world tree. The Moirai keep their quiet vigil. The weavers of fate across lands and ages continue their timeless work. Their threads stretch across the cosmos, binding gods, mortals, and time itself in one great fabric. The night holds you in its calm embrace. The loom sings softly as stars flicker like sparks along the threads of the sky. The pattern continues, endless and serene. Now let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return, the night lies quiet. A silver moon leans low above the horizon, brushing the earth with light soft as silk. The air is cool and still, carrying only the faint rustle of leaves, the gentle breath of the wind. It feels as if the world itself has slowed, as if every creature waits in silence. A dreamlike hush settles over land and water alike. In this tender stillness, a path opens. It winds softly through the dark, leading toward hidden places, springs that glimmer under moonlight, temples where voices once rose in prayer, sanctuaries where rest itself was a gift from the divine. Here we enter the realm of healing. Here the voices of women and goddesses move like rivers of calm. Imagine the first of these places, a sacred spring deep in a quiet grove. The water glimmers faintly, touched by moonlight filtering through leaves. It is said that goddesses linger here, unseen yet felt, their presence woven into the flowing current. Women come with offerings, garlands of flowers, bowls of milk, jars of honey. They kneel at the edge of the spring. Their whispers blend with the night, carrying prayers for health, for strength, for renewal. Some come for their children, some for their families, some for themselves. All leave with the same gift, peace of spirit, a calm that soothes the weary body. The water is touched to the forehead. It is poured gently over hands and hearts. And always it is said to carry dreams. Those who sleep after visiting such springs wake with visions. Visions of herbs to gather, paths to take, choices to make. Healing does not come only through the body, but through dream, through vision, through the gentle guidance of the unseen. In Greece, these places were called Asclepiae, temples of healing. Some stood by mountains, others near rivers, each blessed with sacred springs. People traveled long distances to reach them, guided by hope and faith. The sick would rest in stone chambers, lying on simple mats, listening to water trickle in the dark. There, silence was medicine. Sleep was prayer. Priestesses and healers moved softly through the halls. They lit lamps of oil. They sang hymns to Hygeia, goddess of health, and to Panacea, bringer of cure. Their voices were low and soothing, carrying not command but comfort. The air itself seemed filled with tenderness, a calm too deep for words. At night, the sick would dream. They dreamed of serpents, sacred to Asclepios, who curled gently beside them. They dreamed of women in flowing robes who placed cool hands upon their brow. They dreamed of the gods themselves, whispering remedies and blessings. And in the morning they woke lighter, as though some unseen weight had been lifted. In Rome, similar temples stood, and farther still, across deserts and forests, other peoples carried their own springs of healing. In every land, water was the same, soft, flowing, life-giving. Always women stood at its heart. They poured the water. They sang over it. They invoked the goddess hidden within its depths. In the ancient lands of the Celts, holy wells dotted the green earth. Women walked barefoot across grass still wet with dawn, carrying cloth to tie upon branches. Each knot, each ribbon was a prayer. The wells were said to carry the power of Bridget, goddess of healing, poetry, and flame. Her presence was felt in both fire and water, in both word and silence. Women prayed at her wells for safe births, for the easing of fever, for peace of mind. They left tokens, coins, shells, herbs, gifts of gratitude for what the water gave. Those who drank or bathed in the wells spoke of calm visions, of sleep that mended the heart. It was not only body that was healed, but the whole of the spirit. Picture now one of these temples at night. The lamps glow faintly, their flames bending like reeds in the hush of the air. Stone walls rise around you, cool and steady yet never harsh. Somewhere, water flows in a gentle rhythm, echoing like the slow beat of a drum. A woman stands in the center, her voice lifted in song. It is not a loud song, but one that ripples like the spring itself. The melody carries a steady rhythm, a pulse that soothes like the rocking of waves. Her words speak of wholeness, of release, of peace returning. Those who hear it feel their breathing slow, their bodies loosen, their minds drift like leaves on water. It is in such places that sleep was treated as sacred. Not a weakness, not a pause, but a holy passage where the soul could be reached. Dreams were bridges, visions were medicine, rest itself was healing. And so we remember that the goddesses of healing were not only of the temples, they were of the springs, the rivers, the wells, the hearths of homes. Women invoked them in whispers while stirring herbs into broth. They prayed to them while binding wounds with cloth. They called their names while rocking a fevered child to sleep. These voices of healing moved quietly, without grandeur, without demand. They moved through every gesture of care, through water poured into a cup, through song hummed over a restless sleeper, through silence held beside the weary. The night deepens. The stars lean closer, their light trembling like drops of water across the dark sky. The earth feels still, as though listening to the voices of healing that linger in memory. The spring continues to flow, quiet and steady. The lamp continues to burn, its flame soft as breath, and within this stillness, a calm arises. A calm that enters not only the body but the spirit. It carries the listener like a river carries a boat. Smooth, unhurried, certain. It reminds the heart that healing is not only of wounds or illness. It is the return to wholeness. It is the remembering of rest. It is the gentle rhythm of life itself, flowing endlessly, tenderly. Let yourself drift, as the ancient dreamers once drifted into the embrace of sacred sleep. Let your breath rise and fall like the ripple of water over stone. Let your spirit float like a prayer carried by the night wind. There is no need for effort. There is no need for thought. Only rest, only stillness, only the soft song of healing that echoes through time. The voices of healing do not fade. They remain, carried by the earth, the water, the wind. They move through memory, through dream, through the quiet spaces of the soul. And as sleep gathers around you, they are near, always near. Now the chapter closes like a lamp being dimmed. The temple falls quiet. The spring flows on. The night sky holds its watch, and you too are part of this calm weaving of rest. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return. The night sky spreads wide and endless. It hangs above like a gentle canopy, deep in velvet, scattered with stars that shimmer like pearls upon dark silk. Each point of light feels alive, breathing softly with the rhythm of the universe. The air is cool, the world hushed, and the heavens seem close enough to touch. Here, in this quiet hour, the stars become storytellers. Their light does not speak in words, but in symbols, in patterns, in the soft glimmer of memory. For those who gaze upward, they are more than distant fire. They are companions. They are guides. They are the eternal sisters who shine upon the earth. Long ago, people lifted their eyes to the night and saw not only stars, but spirits. Each cluster carried a tale. Each constellation became a bridge between sky and soul. And among these celestial stories, many shone with the presence of divine women. They were the celestial sisters, goddesses, huntresses, mothers, and guardians, woven forever into the fabric of the heavens. In the lands of the ancient Near East, worshippers spoke of Astarte, radiant queen of the stars. She was goddess of love and power, of fertility and mystery. Her light was linked to the bright planet that rose at dusk and dawn. When she appeared, people whispered prayers beneath the sky, offering incense and song. They believed her glow brought blessing to crops, to families, to the pulse of life itself. Imagine standing by the sea as twilight deepens. The horizon glows with a faint ribbon of gold. And there, just above the waters, her star appears, steady and clear. To those who watched, this was no simple light. It was the gaze of the goddess, watching, guiding, offering peace. Her presence in the sky reminded them that love was eternal, that renewal was certain. As the night spread, her star was a promise that even in the darkest hours, the light of the divine feminine could be seen. Farther west, under the Greek night, another sister gleamed. Artemis, the huntress, protector of women and children, guardian of the wild. Her spirit was tied not to one star alone, but to the moon and its silver path across the sky. Her light was softer, cooler, yet no less powerful. She was seen in the quiet bow of constellations, in the glitter of the Pleiades, the seven sisters who shimmer like a small cluster of diamonds in the night. The Pleiades were thought to be her companions, daughters of the sky, chased across the heavens by Orion, the hunter. To look upon them was to remember the bond of sisterhood, of safety, of protection. Travelers looked for them as they moved through the seasons. Sailors watched for their rising and setting to guide the rhythm of the sea. Farmers measured planting and harvest by their glow. The Pleiades were not only stars, they were reminders of time's gentle turning, of the cycles that carried life forward. And always, Artemis stood as their guardian, her bow a curve of moonlight, her presence a shield in the darkness. In other lands, different names filled the night. Among the Mesopotamians, the stars spoke of Ishtar, radiant queen of heaven. She was fierce and tender, a warrior and a lover, her presence vast as the sky itself. Her light was the morning star, the same glow the Greeks would later call Aphrodite, the Romans Venus. Ishtar's star was not only beauty, it was power. Those who prayed beneath her light believed she carried both love and war, creation and destruction. To see her in the morning sky was to feel awe, to remember that the heavens held both gentleness and strength. She, too, was a celestial sister, eternal, untouchable, yet near to every soul who lifted their gaze. In Egypt, the night carried yet another goddess. Nut, the great mother of the sky, stretched across the heavens like a river of stars. Her body formed the arch of the Milky Way, her limbs scattered with light. She was not one star, but the whole firmament. Every twinkle in the night was part of her being, every constellation a thread in her endless veil. To the people of the Nile, Nut was the one who swallowed the sun at dusk and gave birth to it again at dawn. Her embrace was the cycle of time itself. Sleeping under her stars was like resting in the arms of a mother, safe, held, eternal. The celestial sisters appeared under many names, but to those who looked upward, the feeling was always the same. The stars were not distant, not cold. They were alive with presence. They whispered comfort, carried guidance, reflected the mysteries of Earth itself. The desert wanderer felt not alone beneath them. The sailor on the open sea felt steadied by their glow. The farmer, the shepherd, the child, all found solace in their light. For to see the stars was to be reminded, you are part of a greater story. Imagine yourself now beneath that same sky. The air is cool, scented faintly with earth and night-blooming flowers. A hush spreads across the land, broken only by the soft chirp of crickets, the distant call of an owl. Above you, the stars shimmer. Astarte's brilliance, Artemis's silver bow, Nut's endless body of light. They do not demand. They do not hurry. They simply shine. They remind you of eternity, of the unbroken flow of life, of the gentle rhythm of the universe. You breathe with them, slowly, steadily. Your heart loosens. Your thoughts soften. You drift in their calm. The celestial sisters are not gone. They remain as they always have, shining through the ages. Every night they rise. Every night they tell their stories without words. Every night they watch over those who rest beneath them. Their voices are made of starlight. Their presence is woven into the silence of the dark. And when you close your eyes, their glow lingers behind your lids. guiding you gently into the dream world. Now the night deepens. The sky grows heavier with stars, a blanket of light stretching in every direction. You lie beneath it, safe, held, part of its endless design. The celestial sisters shimmer above, eternal, tender, ever watchful. Rest now as they have guided countless souls before. Let their light carry you softly into sleep. Let their stories cradle your heart. Let the stars remind you that you are never alone in the dark. The heavens remain. The sisters remain, and you too drift within their calm. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return. The night deepens like a velvet cloak. Stars drift in quiet circles far above, while the earth below grows hushed. The air is cool, carrying the faint fragrance of herbs and blossoms that close their petals to rest. A single flame flickers within a sanctuary hidden from the world, its glow casting soft shadows upon ancient stone. You step softly, as if entering a dream. The walls feel close, carved with symbols no longer spoken aloud. The silence is not empty but full, alive with whispers of prayers, chants, and secrets that once filled the air. This is a place of mysteries, veiled and tender, where the voices of women once carried songs of hidden truth. Long ago there were sanctuaries apart from the noise of cities, sacred groves, cave temples, chambers beneath the earth. Here, the mysteries lived, rituals not written in books, but remembered in hearts. They were not spoken to strangers, but passed softly, like a breath, from one devotee to another. The greatest of these was the mysteries of Eleusis. In the quiet valleys of Greece, pilgrims walked dusty roads, their hearts beating with both fear and hope. They came to honor Demeter, goddess of the harvest, and Persephone, her daughter, who descended each year into the shadowed underworld and returned again with the spring. The story was simple yet vast. Persephone was taken beneath the earth, her mother's grief turning fields barren, her sorrow making the world grow still. But when the maiden returned, flowers burst from the soil, the grain ripened, and the cycle of life began again. In Eleusis, women carried torches through the night, their flames dancing like stars brought down to earth. They sang in voices low and steady, songs of loss, of waiting, of return. Those who joined the rites believed they stepped into the rhythm of eternity, life, death, and life again. It was a secret held not in words, but in the quiet of the soul. The mysteries spoke not of fear, but of comfort. They told of the earth's promise, that nothing is truly lost, that all descends only to rise again. The grain falls into the dark soil, yet sprouts in time. The sun slips beneath the horizon, yet returns at dawn. And the human spirit, too, was whispered to follow this path. Falling, rising, always returning to light. Imagine yourself in that quiet procession. Torches sway in gentle arcs. The air carries the scent of olive oil and burning resin. Your footsteps echo softly on the ancient stones. Around you, voices blend like water flowing, carrying you into a calm older than memory. Far from Greece, in the lands of Asia Minor, another mystery unfolded, the rites of Cybele, the Great Mother. Her worshippers gathered in mountain sanctuaries where pine trees whispered and drums beat in slow, steady rhythms. She was mother of gods, mother of beasts, the endless earth herself. Her priestesses invoked her power in chants that shook the body, in dances that circled like the turning of stars. She was wild and gentle all at once, clothed in lions, crowned in towers flowing with rivers of life. To stand in her presence was to feel the deep heartbeat of the earth itself. The mysteries of Cybele were hidden, yet their essence was clear. She was the womb from which all came, and the arms to which all returned. Even now, if you listen closely, you might hear her voice in the wind through trees, in the thrum of the ground beneath your feet, in the silence between your breaths. Other mysteries lived in shadows of caves, where women carried bowls of water and baskets of fruit. They poured wine upon the earth. They whispered names of forgotten deities. They circled in dances that mimicked the stars. Their rites were never meant to be spoken outside those chambers, for the sacred was fragile, and the sacred was strong. The mysteries were not about knowing with the mind, but about remembering with the soul. They were about walking into darkness and finding that it held a gentle light. They were about trust, surrender, and the deep rhythm that holds all things together. Picture yourself now within such a hidden chamber. The stone walls breathe with coolness. The torchlight flickers like water. A priestess in flowing robes raises her hands, holding a simple earthen vessel. Her voice is low yet steady, like a song sung to the earth itself. It is not meant to be understood by reason. It is meant to be felt. The vessel is poured, and the liquid shimmers in the light. The scent rises, sweet, earthy, intoxicating. You breathe it in and your chest softens. Your body grows heavier, calmer. The sound of chanting moves around you, encircling you like a warm tide. Time itself feels slower, gentler, almost still. The mysteries were always about journeys inward, not the roads outside, but the pathways of the heart. They led pilgrims through silence, through shadows, until the soul opened like a seed in soil. They taught that the greatest truths are not shouted, but whispered, not found in daylight, but revealed in dreams. Perhaps that is why sleep itself was sacred to so many of these rites. Dreams were seen as doors, soft thresholds where gods and mortals might meet. In hidden temples, pilgrims laid their bodies down upon cool stone, waiting for visions. They closed their eyes, surrendered their breath, and drifted into mysteries that spoke only in the language of sleep. The women who kept these rites carried them with reverence. Their songs were never written. Their chants dissolved into air, known only in the moment of their sounding. Yet the essence of their mysteries lives on, in the hush of night, in the rhythm of seasons, in the turning of dreams. For to enter mystery is to enter trust, to let go of what can be grasped and rest in what cannot be named. It is to walk into the dark and feel no fear. It is to know that the unseen is not empty, but full, overflowing, eternal. Now the sanctuary grows dim. The torches burn lower, their flames like small stars ready to sleep. The chants grow softer like lullabies fading into silence. The stone walls breathe cool around you. Your eyelids grow heavy, your body sinking into stillness. The mysteries do not end. They simply fold into you, becoming part of your own quiet breath. You are the pilgrim resting beneath their timeless care. You are the listener of their whispers. You are the seed held in darkness, waiting only for dawn. Rest now as the mysteries cradle you. Let their voices linger as soft echoes. Let their hidden wisdom guide you gently into sleep. The torches fade, the chants dissolve. The earth holds you, the night surrounds you, and the hidden mysteries continue their eternal song, deep within the silence. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return, the night is quiet. A hush has settled over the earth like a veil of silk spread across the sleeping world. Candles flicker in the hidden corners of memory, and their light is gentle, never harsh. Above, the stars glow with patient warmth, keeping watch as they have since the first dawn. You drift among them now, in a place between dream and eternity. The air feels soft, like the breath of a mother leaning over her child. Shadows and light mingle, weaving the atmosphere of a sacred sanctuary. Here, in this tender hour, a final story unfolds. A story of the light that has always been, and will always remain. It is the light of the eternal feminine. In ancient times, people looked to the skies and to the soil, to rivers and mountains, to the moon and the quiet sea. Everywhere they found the same mystery, the same presence that gave birth, that nourished, that healed. They gave her many names. Some called her Astarte, with the star in her name. Some called her Isis, with wings that stretched wide across the heavens. Some whispered Artemis, the silver huntress of the moonlit woods. Others honored Inanna, rising from the deep places, or Sophia, the hidden wisdom shining softly in the heart. Different voices, different lands, yet all spoke of the same truth, that there is a light, gentle yet eternal, that carries the soul in times of darkness. Close your eyes and imagine a flame. It is small at first, the flame of a single lamp burning in an ancient temple. The stone walls are cool. The air carries the faint scent of oil and herbs. Priestesses move quietly, their footsteps soft, their voices murmuring songs that sound like lullabies. This flame is tended with care. It has burned for years, passed from hand to hand, never allowed to die. It is not just fire. It is memory. It is spirit. It is the eternal feminine light, shining in the center of all things. The light takes many forms. Sometimes it appears as water, a stream that flows endlessly, always nourishing, always finding a way forward. Sometimes it appears as earth, a field that rests in winter, yet awakens in spring with blossoms and fruit. Sometimes it appears as sky, a gentle moon guiding travelers home, a dawn that returns no matter how long the night. And sometimes it appears in the heart of a person, When kindness is given, when care is offered, when love is strong enough to heal, the eternal feminine light is not only in the heavens, it is within the quiet soul of every being. It is within you now, glowing softly, like a candle hidden in the chest, casting no shadow, only peace. Long ago, people gathered to honor this truth. In groves of oak, in temples by the sea, in mountain caves lit with torches, they lifted their voices in song. They sang of mothers and daughters, of cycles of death and return, of seeds falling into darkness and rising again into light. They sang of rivers that never tired, of moons that faded and returned, of stars that seemed to fall but were reborn. Through every song one teaching flowed, that the light of the feminine is eternal. It may hide, it may dim, but it never dies. Picture now a vast field under the night sky. The stars are so many they seem to fall like flowers across the horizon. The air is cool yet soft with the fragrance of unseen blossoms. You walk slowly across the grass, each step light, as if the earth is carrying you rather than holding you. In the center of the field stands a tree. It is old, older than memory. Its roots sink deep into the soil. Its branches stretch into the heavens, and on its highest branches rest lights, like lanterns. Each lantern holds the glow of a goddess, the memory of a story once told. There is Demeter, whose love brought life back to the earth. There is Kuan Yin, whose compassion shines brighter than pearls. There is Freya, radiant with beauty and fierce in her care. There is Mary, who holds the child of promise close to her heart. Each lantern is different, but together they weave a single light, a light that fills the whole sky. A light that belongs not to one, but to all. The eternal feminine light is like a river of stars flowing through ages, never ending. It flows through myths and prayers, through lullabies whispered to children, through dreams carried in the silence of night. It flows through you, quietly, gently, like water over smooth stone. It tells you that you are not alone. It tells you that the world is held, always, by a presence that is both vast and near. It tells you that even in the deepest shadow, there is a light that cannot be put out. Listen closely. Can you hear it? A low hum, soft as a heartbeat. It is the sound of the world resting in her arms. It is the sound of the eternal feminine light, cradling the earth in silence. This sound has no beginning. It has no end. It was there before the first story was spoken. It will be there after the last word has been heard. It is always with you. Now let the image grow softer. The stars blur. The tree fades into shadow. The lanterns dim, yet they do not vanish. They live within you now, their glow folded gently into your own breath. Rest in this thought. The eternal feminine is not far. She is as close as the air on your skin. She is the water that cools your lips. She is the ground beneath your resting body. She is the light behind your closed eyes, shining even in sleep. And so, the journey closes. The long path through temples and stories, through myths and memories, through hidden groves and starlit skies, comes at last to stillness. But the story is not gone. It lives in every flame, in every river, in every dawn. It lives in you as the eternal feminine light. So rest now. Let the light hold you. Let it warm you like a gentle fire in the hearth. Let it guide you like a moon across calm waters. Now drift onward into the quiet depths of sleep, carried by her timeless glow. The eternal feminine watches soft as night, endless as the stars, and now the story rests